So, hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between Komodo 13, the Monte Carlo tree search version, with the white pieces against Houdini 1.5a. And I let them play this position you see here on both sides actually, because no move were played. I let them play without opening book or table bases as always. And this position arises after the moves e4, c5, knight f3, d6, bishop b5 check, bishop d7, bishop takes, and knight takes. Another move d3, which is suggested by Stockfish. And let's see what we get here. I will probably play g6, but I think we will get e6 here. And then castles and knight g e7. Knight g e7. What's the idea here? Probably knight to here. Wants to go to e5, or probably preparing d5 without the fear of e4. So c4, let's prevent this. d5 anyway. c takes, c takes, c takes, knight takes. Okay, this is probably good for knight takes. Yeah, but rook here check. So I'm not quite sure if this is good for black. If bishop here, then bishop to g4. If knight here, bishop g4 anyway. But bishop here. Now knight c3. Knight takes c3. Knight takes c3. Pawn takes c3 and castles. And you get out of it. And after d4, it should be around even. So this could be the idea of Houdini while playing e6. And e6, what's the move here? Castles, yeah. And then bishop e7 followed up with a4, knight f6 and h3. Castles, knight g e7, bishop d2. This is what Houdini gives. Knight e7. Follow up with bishop d2. I think bishop d2 is a lame move. Okay, it wants to go here and prepare knight there. But what about d5 here? Okay, takes, knight takes. Now c4. It's the idea to snap this off. Knight here. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and d4. Okay, black got this bishop, but so bishop here most probably. c5 and bishop all the way back to prepare this battery. a6 could be a move. a6 could be a move there. If takes, then knight takes going to this square, or to c2 to e3. b3 is now what Komodo thinks. b3 instead of bishop d2. b3, knight g6 and bishop b2. Knight g6 and bishop b2. Okay, preventing black from moving anything. So knight there I would do, or e5. e5, actually e5 is a great move. e5, stopping this. Okay, knight here, going on to d4, but then knight f6. So not quite positive about it. And then I can jump to f5. So yeah, okay, knight here. Knight f6 preventing this, and now knight e2. Prevent knight f5. Bishop e7. And now what? c6 followed up with d4. Probably c3 here. No, not c4. Not c4. c6. c3. Castles and d5. No, d5 hangs the e pawn. So this is also not possible. First you'd have to cover the e pawn. But how to do this? I would probably go to h4 here, prepare h5 to kick this, to eliminate this knight. So probably, I don't know, b4 expanding on the queen side. No, we have bishop g5 here, pinning the knight. Pinning the knight, bishop g5. h6 I would do. H6, bishop h4, and queen c7. And queen c7, this is Houdini's line. And now what? Queen c7 and a4. h6, queen c7, and knight bd2. This is what Komodo MCTS is planning. Komodo 13 MCTS. So this could be the line we see. Now d4, bishop takes, pawn takes doesn't work. But you could prepare this. What to do? So probably knight g6 attacking the bishop. Bishop here, preventing any d5 action. So either knight here or d5 immediately. d5 immediately, not positive about it. Rook here. And if knight there, then bishop there attacking the queen, but then e5, then takes, opening up a frontal pressure. So let's do that. e5, but then takes, losing a pawn. So that's not on. So bishop here. So let's say bishop d6. Can't you just push it? Push, knight takes, bishop takes. So you could, oh, but this knight is also covering this square. So it's not on to push. But you can still take it because the pawn is pinned. So this is not positive. d5. So there I would go knight here, this, and now e5. We'll probably do that. Prepare knight here, but then you can snap it off always. Bishop e7 will come, so c3. Knight there, takes, and d4. Of course you don't want to take this, because if you take, then you have this weak pawn over there. So bishop e7 most probably. Then d5. No, d5 is not on. d5 is not on. Rook c1, rook there. Now you can definitely not take. Is e5 on? Knight there. d5 is not on, but okay, b5. So at some point you'd have to play a4. So after castles, now a4 to stop any b4. a3. b4. b5. Takes. Takes, knight takes, and knight e4. So it's not like this position is better for white. It's just a different approach. So let's see. Both engines giving this position as even. Let's see. Queen c7 will probably be the move. And let's see what those engines are doing. Bishop g3, knight c6. Knight c6. Queen c7, knight c6. Okay, Houdini tries to put the knight on c6, probably going to d5. Knight c7, now a4 is the move suggested by Komodo. After queen c7, now white is on the move. Okay, let's put it back. Knight d2. So a4. Stopping any b5, but what is a4 doing? Probably preparing a4. a5. Let's see, Komodo is thinking about a different line than Houdini. But I don't think this position is better for white. But okay, give them a solid opening. Let's see who plays the better chess. Probably Komodo. a4, a6, followed up with b5. No, b5 can't be played. Also, I don't really get this a4 move. Okay, you want to play knight d4 to c4. Without worrying about getting this knight chopped off. So after a6, probably a4 will be played, and then knight, either knight a2, a3 or knight d2, and then bishop. Okay. So if this, you can go knight d2, knight g6, bishop there, bishop e7, knight c4, b5 takes the rook. So knight c4, but then you can go knight g6, so that's why a5 is important. After a3, a5, knight d2, knight d2, knight g6, bishop there, and if knight here, then you can kick it. So bishop there, knight c4, knight there, so a4, castles and knight c4. And now you have a solid positional advantage as white. You took care of the f4 square where the knight wants to land. You can probably go h4, h5 to kick this knight away and have some really solid play there. But let's follow the line Houdini gives. So bishop g3 first, bishop g3, and if the knight goes to g6, then h4. So knight c6, taking care of the a5 square. So c3, b4 is also not on. Knight here to there. So I would probably go there to be able to connect rooks. But then knight d4, knight there, you chop it off. But if you go to this square, yeah, well, you have this a3 square. You also have this a3 square. So let's try bishop e2, knight a3, castles, and knight there, and you still have this positional edge. No, you don't, because knight g6. No, not b6, of course. Knight g6. Okay, if takes. I like those kind of pawn structures, but this is an idea, knight c6 instead of knight g6. Knight g6 is probably not so good. The knight there. So bishop g3, knight c6. Let's see, not bishop takes knight. Although bishop takes knight would also be a possibility after this. You could go for knight d2. Bishop there, though. c3. Castles, a5. Knight there, knight takes. Bishop takes an f4 even. And if pawn takes, then knight there, and you have a monster knight. Again, so bishop takes g6 with this a5 in mind was also quite possible. But knight c6 knight c6, knight d2, and bishop e7. This is what Houdini gives, followed up with knight c4 and b6. Why not knight a4? Oh, knight a4 loses that pawn, and knight g6. Knight g6, why not knight g6? Why not knight g6? Knight e3, most probably. Castles. And now what, c4 to prevent d5? No, c3 because the knight can jump there. c3 is more useful. e5, you allow the knight to square, but then you can chop it off. So b4. We get rid of the b4 idea. Oh, no. Knight here, knight e3, and now a6, followed up with knight c4 back. Wow, we have a move there. We have a move instead of knight c6. We have the move g5 by Houdini. And now h3. Followed up with castles long. That's an idea. Wow. This is amazing. Interesting play. G5, castles, and knight c3. But now I would probably go knight d2 whatever way. Bishop there. f5 can also be could also come at some point. h4 is now what Komodo thinks of. So let's see what we get. h4 is also interesting. Takes, bishop takes. Bishop here. h4 is a nice little move. But let's see what we get there. We have h4. But g4, knight d2. Taking this pawn, so h5. Okay, now the queen side is blocked. Knight a3, gaining some control over this square on c4. Knight a3, castles long. Castles long and knight a3 to c4. Knight a3 to c4. Knight here. a5. Knight takes. Knight takes. So knight c6. Knight here check. Queen there. King there. Okay, now you threaten to chop this off. So probably this check does nothing. So you probably have the knight c3. You're gonna play c3 to prevent the knight from coming anywhere. Bishop here or bishop there, or bishop h3 even, or f5. These are the moves which are coming to my mind. Probably f5, you want to start attacking as soon as possible. Takes, takes. And d4. Takes, takes. Okay, this knight is indirectly defended due to this secure. So what to play here? Bishop there, b4, knight takes, knight here check, king there, rook there, attacking the queen, and the queen is trapped. So knight has to go back, and then d5, d4 would win a piece. So this is a poisoned pawn. So let's see what we get here. g4, knight d2, and now h5. Both engines are giving knight h5 now, I suppose. So g4, knight h5, h5. And I want to see both evaluations right around here. Still kind of equal, but interesting position. Interesting position. Knight d2, h5, knight c4, knight c6. h5, knight c4 immediately. So let's go back a couple of moves. Instead of knight a4, knight c4 immediately. What about knight g6 there? Doesn't really change matters. Just knight d2. And knight takes, castles queenside, h4, f5. Now if takes, you could take with a knight. So this is probably not the greatest thing. This move, that, and now this knight can jump here with check, king there, and now forking the rooks. So d5 is not possible there. So you have a problem. You would have a problem. So after castles, h4. Why h4? You can go d5 immediately. So the reason, probably knight g6. Probably that's why knight c6 to stop that and prepare knight here. So a4, and now castles queenside. This could be the idea. So knight a3 now. Yeah, but it doesn't really change the picture. It will be probably a same position. h5 is played. Knight a3. Knight c6. Knight d2 to c4. Knight d2 to c4. But now b4 takes, knight takes, and the queen is attacked, so b5 doesn't work. b5 doesn't work. But knight here, well, it doesn't really change the picture. Just queen d2, knight takes, knight here, followed up with not sure. Knight a3, castles queenside we have. So h4, knight a3, and castles queenside. This is now knight d2 to c4, knight g6, knight g6, followed up with c3 and knight e5, knight d7 to e5. No, wait, I have something else. Knight b to c4, knight d c4 and knight e to g6. Trying to go to e5, so c3. Game is heating up now. Castles, knight c4, c3, f5. f5 is the thing what Houdini is planning to do. Very interesting. Okay, going after that pawn. So that's why knight g6 is the thing. But e5 is what? f3, f5, f takes g4, f takes g4. Knight here, pawn takes, rook here. So wait a bit, knight here, pawn takes, threatening rook here. Is rook here a threat? I don't know, because the knight, if the knight would be there, then it wouldn't be a threat also. So knight here is not working. e5, f4 now. f4 is the move. f4 followed up with f6. f4. If pawn takes, bishop takes, knight d5, knight takes, pawn takes and knight c4, knight g6. So we'll probably go bishop g7, and if pawn takes and bishop takes, attacking the bishop, and if bishop takes and knight takes, defending the pawn, then knight takes, pawn takes, and rook takes f7. So that's why f6 should be played there, because taking knight here doesn't do so much, because you just eliminate the defender of the f6 pawn. So f4, f6, f4, f6. It's basically the same. Because f3, f5 takes would lead to the same position, but f4 has more prospects because you don't have to take. This is the same position than the other one, but you don't have to take. You can go f5, prevent knight g6, and block off the king side completely. So there is now no counterplay. So that's why Houdini took it. Doesn't want to see f5, so takes. Queen takes f3 and then f6. Queen takes f3. And now f5. What's f5 about? You just take it. You just take it. Is the idea e5? e5, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. So d5 is probably the idea. And now what? Knight e2 attacking that pawn, so d4, knight there, and knight c3 to defend everything. Now c3, maybe c3. If knight g6, then you just go there and takes, and you have eliminated one defender of the e-pawn. So takes. This looks grim actually. This whole position looks very grim. So we have f takes, queen takes, f3, f5. Why f5? f5, e takes f5 and bishop h6. f5, e takes h5 and bishop f6. What's the idea of bishop f6? Bishop h6. Bishop g7, bishop h6, both engines giving this as equal now again. So rook takes we have instead of queen takes. G takes f3, rook takes f3, and f5 nevertheless. E takes f5 and knight c6. c6 trying to go there. f5 e takes and bishop g7 is what Komodo gives. I will go c3 to stop this. Also to prepare any other moves. What about d5? Takes, knight here. Knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Attacking the queen. Queen here most probably. This is much better for white. You cannot give up yet another pawn. But f5 is an interesting approach to this. It's much more interesting than f6. 5 e takes f5. E takes f5. The bishop will go to g7. So not sure. Bishop g7. Stopping f5. Stopping f6. Stopping f6. So let's see. E takes f5, bishop g7, knight c4 to e3. Trying to block this, and then d5 or queen e2. Let's just watch this. This position is too complicated for me. Houdini made this an interesting game. Queen e2 will be the move. Or c3. Rook h g8. Knight a3 c2. Knight c7 f6. Queen d2. King b8, a5. King b8, a5. And knight e7 to d5. Knight here. Okay, this is... let's see. Let's look at this position for a while. White has an extra pawn, but according to both engines, this position is not better for white. It's very interesting, though. This position. Rook h f8. is what we will get probably. Rook h f8. So wait, rook takes, f5 takes, bishop g7, c3, and not rook g8, but rook f8 is what these engines are giving. Rook f8 followed up with queen f1 and d5. And d5 kicking this knight. Knight e3 and queen b6. Knight e3 and queen b6. Queen f1, d5. Yeah, this... it's very aggressive play by black, I have to say that. Very interesting. It started with this g5 idea. Queen f1, d5. Going after the b pawn and... yeah, going after the b pawn. So what to do against the b pawn? King b8. So king f1, king b8. So now the king is standing safe on the square. Why not e5, knight e3? I'm not sure. This is move 19 now. So those engines still have time. As you see there. Very interesting game. Knight d3 and king b8 or queen b6. And a lot to calculate in such an open position. d5, knight e3, king b8, b4. Why not this position? What's wrong with that? Both engines are giving king b8 afterwards. So knight e3, king b8. Or queen b6. Queen b6 would be much more interesting, I guess. I would love to see king, but we probably will see king b8 and b4. King b8, b4, and I think black is busted. I don't think you can hold this. As well, you cannot really take this. That's clear. So queen here, queen there, king there, rook there, d5, knight back to c4. So d5 is not on. Takes, rook takes. So let's just watch the game for a while and analyze this after. Yeah, we have queen b6. We have queen b6. This is the main move here. And now rook a b1. Follow up with rook fg8, b4. Let's see, rook a b1 and queen a5. Why not queen a5 immediately? Queen a5 going after the a pawn, going pawn hunting. What? Those engines. Okay. Queen a5, c4. c4. Pawn takes, knight takes, queen takes, with the idea of pushing through. Probably if knight takes, then you have this fork. So bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, knight here check, queen here, and knight there. Going after the c pawn. This pawn is under threat. So yeah, probably you would take that. How is the pawn count? 3 against 4, but white is up a piece. So this is the idea. c4, this fork. After f6 forking, so you have to give up. Rook takes, so you win a piece. Lose a rook, so rook for rook, 1 apiece. And here you are just up a piece. So it's basically lost. No, probably bishop takes, because otherwise you lose that bishop and you're not even down a piece anymore. So this is why this is not working. So Houdini changed its mind, saw c4. After rook here, played the move queen c6, and now c4 anyway. But now we'll go d5. Knight here, knight takes, pawn takes, knight here, threatening, probably nothing. Threatening bishop takes pawn, bishop, now threatening f6 with the same idea of this fork. So no, but probably you cannot go there. You have to make a different route. Knight here is probably even better because of the b4 thrust. So a4, but then the knight can jump in there. And you don't really have any compensation for the pawn, and you're still threatening this. So rook there. Now queen here, going after the a pawn. So let's defend it. So knight takes possible. Pawn takes, knight takes, attacking the queen. The pawn is pinned. So where does the queen go? Probably to here, but then b4. I'm not sure. It's interesting. So let's see. We have knight c2. With knight c2 instead of c4. Queen c6 and knight c2. Preparing b4 one more time. So this threat is nice. Queen takes a4. Queen takes a4 now. Now and ever. You're trying to capture that pawn via c6. Queen takes a5. Knight c2 e4. Queen takes a4 b4. Now I want to see both evaluations. Queen fd1 or b4. b4 seems to be a good move there. I would play b4 instantly. b4, bishop f6. very complicated game. Black got this pawn back. King's sitting on c8. But I saw a couple of nice lines here already. b4. Bishop f6 and bishop h2, but what about the h pawn? Taking off the h pawn. Would result in capturing there, and playing f6. Maybe. B takes c5, so Komodo gives this his top line. Bishop there, b takes c5. Knight takes c5 and knight b4. Going after the d pawn. Well, the d pawn is defended, but defending the d3 pawn. And now what? Knight b4, a6, a5, kicking off the knight, kicking away the knight. So what to do there? We'll probably go rook there. Rook a1, queen b5. Rook a1, queen b5. Knight takes d5. Knight takes d5. But what about knight takes d5? Oh, I see. Knight takes, rook takes, and c3 check, winning the rook there. And after all is said, no, cannot even take that. Oh, the c4. c4, there are a lot of tactics in this position. A lot of little finesses. Knight takes, rook takes, and c4, winning back material. So we have bishop f6, no king h1, no b5, king h1. Let's see, but why not knight b4? You don't have to play b5. You can also go back with the queen to c. No, not here. Probably you can also go d5 yourself, attacking the knight. No, you can't because of pawn takes, rook takes. You can't take with the pawn. And I have knight here, threatens this fork. And how to defend this? You would have to go all the way back. This is the only safe spot. So king d8, queen d8. Now you'd have a lot of options. Takes, 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 attacking the rook. So let's say rook goes all the way back, knight takes, pawn takes, rook here check, queen, king there. Is there any continuation why this is justified? So probably not. Okay, bishop takes, rook there, c3. Knight goes where? Where exactly does the knight go? Knight here. Then you get knight takes. You could capture the bishop, but then this is terrible. This whole stuff is so terrible. what I just analyzed here. If you take this now, then rook here check is not winning, but queen here checkmate is winning. So this is the threat. So you cannot take the knight, and if you cannot take the knight, then you're probably busted. Knight takes, knight d4, rook takes, queen b4 check, king here, and rook there. We have a discovered checkmate to follow. Yeah, it's over. This is busted. So knight b4, queen a5, queen h4 to a5. Yeah, I think Komodo is now spotting the threat. I think Komodo is confident about its position, and Houdini is probably suffering now, because this line I just analyzed is a threat here. So a4, rook there, knight, knight takes, rook takes c5. This is one of them. So b takes, knight b4. If d4 then takes, rook takes, knight here, attacking the queen. Queen has to go back, knight takes, bishop takes, rook there, and now not this immediately, but d4, kicking away the defender, and now knight takes. This is the line why this is so dangerous. So queen a5 now. Queen a5, rook, queen e1. So let's now see both evaluations again. Komodo is now confident that this is winning. After queen e1, trying to go after that pawn, maybe. Rook d8 to d7. Rook d8 to d7, so that one. Because king b8 would run into c5, and if you take this, the knight here check. Oh, this defends the queen, so it's not on. But anyway, we have rook d7. Now rook f3, f1. Changing plans now. Komodo is pretty confident about its position, but I'm really curious what Stockfish will say about that game. This g5, it looks like a mess, this position. This whole game was a completely mess of a game. A lot of hidden tactics. d4 instead of f4. Yeah, d4 is probably much better. Attacking the knight, counter-attacking the rook, probably taking this knight, taking the rook, and now this one. If takes, then knight takes, pawn takes, and rook e1 mate, rook b8 mate. So, and you kind of have to take it because the queen is under threat. So this, if you move the rook, where to move the rook? If you move it there, then this is not great. How can you mate now? You have a discovered check, but you cannot win the queen currently. Oh, you can probably. Knight here check wins. No, not wins the queen. Knight here check is probably best. D takes c4. D takes, wow. C takes and bishop takes d4. C takes and bishop takes d4. Okay, at least pinning the knight. Knight takes would result into queen takes, rook takes, and rook takes there. So you kind of have problem there. So this is probably the best line white can do, and black won yet black won a pawn there. So white is this time sacrificing a pawn. But why? King h2. The line just okay. If you remove this piece, then rook takes attacks at knight, and after rook here, for example, then this. So let's just do that. You cannot go there because of f6, so you have to go there. f6 nevertheless, you cannot take it. And if knight there, then no, not knight takes. I wouldn't do knight takes. I would not do knight takes. I would go rook here check. Bishop is a very monster. This bishop is a monster. If you block with the rook, then you go knight takes, queen takes, takes, takes. Now what? Bishop here attacking the knight. Knight there attacking the bishop. Bishop here, rook there. No. Oh, there is no easy win now. King h2 we have, with a massive advantage for white. With a massive advantage for white. Knight to d5. So I'm really curious why this is so good. Probably because of the e-file, but I'm not sure. Knight to here. Rook bc1 check. Bishop here. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, check. Okay, the only square for the king is this one. No, you can also block with the rook, but because this is not on, because of knight check winning the queen. No, it's again not winning the queen. But f6 is now on. And if the knight moves to any square, doesn't matter. Let's say this one, then knight here wins the queen. So you have to be careful. So knight d5. Okay, the thing is bishop here. Now you're probably defending everything. But this pin is quite strong. It's quite strong. f6 now. Sacrificing yet another pawn. Rook takes. Rook takes. Knight d5. What? Knight takes d5? Just eliminating all the pawns. Knight takes d5. It's interesting. Knight takes d5. Which knight? Actually. Which knight takes on d5? That's the question. Knight e takes d5. Sacrificing right, left, forward, center, everything. Knight takes, rook takes, knight takes, queen here check, winning the rook, or the knight, or probably both. It's such a terrible position. King here only moved to not lose so much material, then this check lands. And it doesn't matter where the king goes. Here should, no, here it's also terrible. Queen takes, oh, we have moves here. We have moves there. Queen takes, rook takes rook. rook takes f6, and yeah, it's not too fast for me. This game is too fast. Rook takes rook, and this bishop is still in the pin. It's so toast. This bishop here is just a monster, a monstrosity. +3, rook takes, rook there, defending. So let's just put this in order. This is black's time, this is white's time. Rook here, oh, rook here is nice. Rook here is a beautiful move. Rook to d6, it's such a nice move. Rook f5, now probably even rook c5, attacking the knight or whatever. Wow, such an amazing game I witnessed here. Such an amazing little game. But it's not so instantly terrible. Rook d1 check. Because those two connected passes on the queen side are just... What? Oh, okay. Because I thought after rook takes, rook g7 check. Let's see these endgame skills Komodo has. Komodo is now not so confident. Well, both engines are quite confident that white is... But I'm not sure if white is winning that position. Yeah, probably. Probably white is winning. Rook here. The other option was rook g5, which would have had this... No, this has more effect. It's more effective. Rook takes h5, king there. Rook g5. Yeah, slowly but surely white is winning the exchange up in this endgame. But how did this happen? It's mind-blowing. So much little tactics are in that position. This knight sacrifice, and after all is said and done, this position is just much better for white with this running h-pawn. After this check I will probably go bishop e5, control this diagonal. King b5. King c5. Okay, white is down on 1 minute 23, so let's see if this bishop here check. King b5, h5. King c4. But yeah, now both engines are confident that this is winning now for black. For white, sorry. Rook e6. Attacking the bishop. Or h5. h6, I mean. Bishop takes h6 because yeah, you could also try bishop there, but then rook g7 or something. Doesn't really matter anymore. You're now piece up. And you have a pawn, so yeah, Komodo MCTS played a quite a good and impressive game there. And let's see when Houdini 1.5 will resign this. G4 and the next pawn is running down the board. G4, knight E4. Bishop E7. Now Komodo is bringing this home, I think. Very nice little tactics here in the end. Knight here. Rook C6 check. Or that one. A lot of ways to skin the cat now. Oh, there is a check. Check on F3. Queen F3. Oh, it doesn't matter because the bishop is defending the pawn. So knight F1 check. King G1, and now how to stop the pawn. Or king here even. Knight E3. Just continue pushing. Knight F5. Okay, now finally Houdini resigned. It was such a beautiful game. I really enjoyed that one. So let's just put these engines to rest. And ask Stockfish what he thinks about the opening to get. So this is what I gave them. E6 G6. I would have gone for E6 G6. Knight Bishop E7. Castles. Knight G6. Bishop G5 H6. Bishop there. Queen C7. A4, G5. G5 is better for black. What? No. But G5 is a playable move. Let's let him. 3 bishop there and now G5. G5 immediately was also possible. But the interesting thing will come there. What happened here? Takes, bishop takes, king there. Knight d4 check. F6 takes. Knight takes. Oh. Knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, knight takes, rook takes. Yeah, and everything. Yeah, this endgame was just lost now. Okay, I don't have really much questions, but instead of G5 one move later, instead of A6, Stockfish is giving G5 here. G5, Bishop G3 the only option, and now F5. Stockfish is playing with that, but gives it as equal. Yeah, there are options here. Wow, such an amazing game this one was. So G5. Yeah, it's probably around even. And after A6, Bishop G3, G5, H4. Knight c4 immediately is what Stockfish gives. But okay, knight here. Yeah. It's too complicated if knight c4 is... I would have also preferred knight c4 immediately, but... No, knight a3 he's now giving. Knight c4 and knight a3. Knight a3 was chosen, so... Yeah. Beautiful game here. Knight b4. There are a lot of hidden tactics. This sacrifice of the pawn was nice. Rook takes f6, queen takes, knight takes, rook here, rook there, and the endgame is just busted. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.